Hi, my good people. So, I'm on a streetcar actually. For those of y'all who don't know Toronto too well, we got these streetcars. Try to show you a little bit of city, how we living out here. Um, like I said, I stand by everything I said. Melle Mel was right. Let's talk about it. So, Melle Mel for years has been, years actually, has said this in interviews, talking about how rap fell off hard once it started getting into street shit. And he's absolutely right. I mean, I've always felt this as well, but um, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that rap started to preach was that being from the hood was a beautiful thing, right? In the sense of like street shit, doing street shit and being surrounded by street shit and being into street shit was the way to go, right? And that ultimately, all it does is stifle black progress. And Melle Mel is very right on that. Um, so the fact of the matter is this: if you are rapping about street activity, you are glorifying street shit. And that goes for just about every rapper that I even like, for the most part. A lot of rappers that like do this. That doesn't mean that they're not glorifying hood shit. All of them. Nas, Jay, to Ghostface, to ASAP, the whole nine. You start rapping about, yo, I've got this gun, and I'm doing this and that, and blah, blah. You're glorifying street shit. Now, obviously, there are levels to this, right? Someone like a Nas, even though he does glorify the street shit, Nas tries to go a little bit deeper than obviously most rappers ever. So he's giving you both sides of the street shit, like so the disappointing parts of it, the bad parts of the street shit, um, why the street shit even occur, you know what I'm saying? Or just talking about other things in general, right? Whether it be his daughter or I don't know, politics, whatever, it's patience, you know what I mean? Like Nas raps about a bunch of different things, and this is why we love Nas, obviously, because he's not just in one box with the content. Um, Jay isn't just, he made his bones rapping about street shit, but at the same time, he's giving it to you with a certain business angle. And there's a wit, and, there's a certain soul there that's cool. And so we love Jay, right? Even though, like I said, glorifying street shit. So here's the point, right? If you portray street activity, okay, whether on or off camera, okay, if you're portraying that shit, you're putting yourself in danger, period. Doesn't matter if even off camera you're not living that life. Because when idiot rappers like Boosie start saying shit like being a rapper is so dangerous. It's not about being a rapper. It's about portraying street shit, right? It's about whether you portray it, live it, whatever, on or off camera. That shit's dangerous, right? And when you start to put yourself in certain situations, things like this happen, like Takeoff being murked. And again, you can't sit here and cry about it because it was bound to happen. We've seen this over and over again, okay? Some of y'all in the comment section respectfully are naive, maybe you're young, and that's why you're using this as an opportunity to attack me, because it's easier to attack a human being. It's easier to attack me than to actually sit and think about what it is you're consuming and why you're consuming it. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, Takeoff and them, they were not no, brilliant, smart, intellectual guys or whatever. It's not even that they were so intellectual. Again, my sympathy is going to be limited, partly because their music was disposable fluff in the negative aspect. It wasn't about nothing, okay? Now, Cardi's music ain't about nothing either, okay? I listen to Playboy Cardi, you know this. I listen to A$AP Rocky. The difference between Cardi and A$AP Rocky, Pop Smoke, compared to Migos, is that at least with at least with like Pop Smoke, for example, I'll give you a quick example. Pop Smoke moved reckless, from what I can see, but there was more of a soul there. There was more of an intellect with how he put his music together. Okay, Big 38 Kohoko, you felt him. You know what I'm saying? When you start to feel rap, it's a whole different ballgame. Okay? Even when you do dumb shit. So at least you kind of feel, oh man, RIP to the devil. You know what I mean? But when it's just like with the fluff over and over again, obviously sympathy is limited because their music, there's nothing impressive about their music. Let's be honest here. Streams don't make your music impressive. As much as people they try this trick all the time, it doesn't matter. Okay. What makes your music impressive is how it's actually put together. What is it like? What's the emotion behind it? What does it make you feel? Migos music don't make you feel shit. That's real talk, man. So, yeah, if he goes out like that, he goes out like that. It is what it is. I was gonna say lastly, right? Again, I think one of the biggest problems with hip hop is the way that we infantilize people. So, what does that mean? See, I'm looking both ways before I cross the street. That's what an adult would do. Look both ways before you cross the street. That's life, right? So, what do I mean by that? So, at the end of the day, if you get caught up in some shit, right? Like something like what happened to Takeoff, you have to ask yourself real basic questions. Like I've said, some of you are rushing to, infantilize Takeoff, which is really annoying because you've listened to Takeoff rap about whatever. I'm in the street, I'm doing this, I'm getting diamonds and, fucking control, I'm in the, whatever. All that shit, okay? All that gutter shit, okay? Now, was Takeoff a super goon? No, but this is kind of the point. You don't have to be a super goon to get caught up in street shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there are different types of people in the street, but it's all street shit. You can't, once you start putting out that content, you're now in that environment. You know what I'm saying? And so you can get got just like the super goon could get got. Anyway, my point is this. There's so many things, we don't know what happened exactly when it comes to Takeoff. But I will tell you this much though, and again, you got to start thinking about what you're actually listening to. Was Takeoff too faded to figure out what the fuck was going on? Because that's a problem. And as an adult, you're supposed to know and be aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Again, you can sit here and say like, yo, he was so innocent, blah, blah. But again, in real life, that's not how this shit works. There's a lot of things that make things happen, right? And you have to be aware of certain shit. Like I said, you are a so-called millionaire. What the hell are you doing in a dice game with randoms? You don't go to dice games with randoms. Randoms who are strapped, who are drugs and alcohol is involved. Where you know Quavo, and again, we don't know the situation, but maybe people in your entourage have anger management issues, and we'll get it popping. At the slightest notice. So you're putting yourself in danger by even being there. You know what I'm saying? And again, you got to be smart enough to figure this shit out. That's why you have to keep it real. Homie is partly responsible for ending up dead. There's no way around it. You can hopscotch around the shit. But it's a dumb situation. It's not random. Okay? There's a very obvious outcome. And we've been rapping about this shit. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Like in hip hop, people been saying this shit. But, it's all fun and games until the shit actually happens. And then all of a sudden, the same audience who love the dumb shit, they love the street shit, want to attack people like me who keep it real and are like, yo, isn't this the logical outcome of everything you've been freaking rapping about and your whole image and what you've been putting out there? Oh, no, you a hater. You envy. All this shit, like... See, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about this hip-hop shit that's sad. Hip-hop, modern hip-hop anyways, and this is not new to the Migos, but modern hip-hop has taught you how to hate yourself. A lot of these comments come from self-hate, real shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you sitting and actually thinking about, yo, Tochi's saying some real shit. I might not agree 100% with what he's saying, but he's another human being. He seems to come from a good place where he's saying this shit. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to hate on Tochi. Because Tochi isn't giving you the fantasy that, he's not feeding into the fantasy that you have been, obviously so addicted to for a minute. And hip-hop teaches you, unfortunately, modern hip-hop teaches you to hate yourself, hate your surroundings, hate other people who are just like you.
You are going through basic shit. It teaches you to hate all the shit that you got. Yo, my shirt ain't fly enough. I need to get a better shirt. My girl ain't hot enough. I need to get a better girl. My car ain't nice enough. Self-hate shit. And then when you look at the outcome of all these people, you're like, oh, why am I even imitating this shit? Real spit. Peace.